We're good.
All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, and while we were gone, so we had a special guest, Miss Reese Pender, come over and join us. We're going to talk. Hello, Reese. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate it.
Say hi.
Okay. All right. We'll come back to Miss Reese a little bit later in the show. But we were talking just before the break, we were talking about motorcycle accident increases this year have almost not doubled, but if last year's statistics were for a full year at 25, and this year we're only into July.
Right.
I had to think what month we were in.
I know.
Yeah. In July, and we're already at 38 deaths statewide.
Yes.
Those are not good
the
numbers.
The severity of our accidents are really increasing, and of course, a lot of that is due to the helmet use.
Yeah.
You know, our helmet law, we do not have to wear a helmet unless you're under the age of 18.
Yeah.
So, they really think that that's due to that. And we are seeing severe car accidents this year. You know, we're seeing increases and things like that. So, things like wearing your helmet, motorcycle safety, being aware of your surroundings, but you could be the safest motorcycle rider in the world and driver. But it's the cars around you.
And the deer.
Yeah, and the deer. Big deer population this year.
Heaven, yes.
Yeah.
You're seeing more deer.
You and I both drive through heavily populated areas for deer, and they're really a lot out there this year.
Yes, and an animal of any size hitting a motorcycle really, can do a lot of damage.
Sure.
I've seen some really banged up people on motorcycles that first and hitting a deer really hurt.
And I know my husband has always said to me, don't swerve, hit it.
Right.
Which I'm like, but that's absolutely against human nature.
Exactly
you don't
right.
want
It's
to
not
hurt something.
The correct instinct.
Yeah.
You want to swerve. But if you are driving in a car, do not swerve, hit that deer, just try to slow down.
Yeah.
Seatbelts, wear your seatbelts.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course, we've seen some really,
Yeah.
We're expecting some statistics out of the Arkansas Trauma Main program to give us how the trauma program has helped reduce some of the injuries, the mortality rate, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're working on the motorcycle or the motor vehicle. I can't say the word statistics now, and they're hoping to have that out. I believe they said in October.
Yeah.
So
Good. We'll have you back on the show to give us an update on that
Yes.
and tell us
because we really think
what are
that
the
our trauma
causes.
system,
Yeah.
our trauma system is really helping us. It really is improving the lives of people in Arkansas and helping us get treatment for those patients quicker and easier and safer. Our system is just excellent, even though it was one of the last states in the United States to get a trauma system.
You guys got us caught up real fast.
we did.
We've been caught up.
Yeah, you sure did.
Yes.
And I just think of all the wonderful things that have been done in the community for free. The car seats, which is still ongoing.
Yes.
And you've got bike helmets for kids that you've distributed. It's just wonderful what's been able to be done so that we're not hearing bigger statistics.
Right.
Those are the things we'll never know about, but because kids are being kept safe in the proper right size car seat and because they've got a helmet on when they're riding their bike, it's really a lot of injuries are being avoided.
They are.
And speaking of that, actually, again, statewide and locally, there's been an increase in drownings. And so that's one of the things that we want to talk about here, and that's why Reese came with us today, is she's going to show us how to fit a life jacket. And we'll let them go ahead and get started. And I just wanted to remind everyone that if you're going to be on the lake in a boat, 13 under must be in a life jacket at all times when the boat is underway. And if you're going to be swimming on the lake, you should make sure that you have proper flotation devices.
Now, Reese weighs 46 pounds.
Okay.
So, any parent, like my husband, when he goes to buy a life jacket, he wanted to get the biggest bang for his buck, right?
So she could wear it a couple years.
She could get a little bit of use.
Sure.
So, of course, he bought a life jacket that was for 50 pounds because you would think,
47, yeah.
So we're going to try, we'll just leave that tag on Reese because we know what.
Thanks, Reese, for helping us out
She's
today.
our model today.
We really appreciate this
And
because
when
this
you're
is
fitting-
important for people.
Yes. When you fit your life jacket, you want it snug. You want it to fit tight. You're going to zip it. On your little body.
Okay.
You're going to zip it and you're going to buckle it both. Some life jackets, it's tight. Some life jackets,
I need it a
Is that one perhaps a little too tight?
Is this one too tight, Reese? So even though she says it's tight, it's the right size, or it might actually be too big.
Too big.
Because
Because she could go out through the arms, couldn't
look
she?
at those arms.
Yeah.
Look at
And it
those
should
armpits.
come up around her face.
Yeah,
And see how high up that goes?
yeah.
So to her, she thinks it's tight, and you can loosen straps and things. It's actually too big.
big.
She could slip out of this life
Yeah.
jacket very easily.
Yep. And
So we brought the life jacket from last year that he thought wouldn't work,
Okay.
and it still works. And it goes up to 50 pounds. And it is snug, and we complain about it. But she's not falling out of this thing.
And you can tell just by looking at her how much better it fits her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You
a
sure
nicer
can.
fit. Yes. And this is the life jacket that we wear whenever we go to the river and whenever we go to the lake. And when I start pulling around on it after we snug it up,
Yep, you can see,
you
absolutely.
can see a big difference.
And
And
she
right
doesn't
here.
go way up on her.
She doesn't need this
throat
anymore, but for the
and neck.
smaller kids, you go
For a
ahead and
smaller child, you would use this strap, of course, the back strap that goes in between the legs.
Yeah.
And then that prevents
Yeah.
that child from slipping out of that life jacket also. So these life jackets are snug, and you want them snug.
And that's how you want them, okay.
Exactly
Coast
right.
Guard
It's the same
approved.
for adults, same
for
kind of
adults.
thing for
You
fit.
want that life jacket to fit. We also brought a puddle jumper just to show people what those are, because they are Coast Guard approved,
Uh-huh.
and it is a different form of life jacket that your children can wear,
Oh, how cute is that?
and they can actually paddle. You know, in a life jacket,
Yeah.
it's hard to swim, and it's hard to learn how to swim.
Yeah.
But you have mobility, and you can move around, and these are safe in the lake and in your pools also. And actually, Reese, what did you learn how to do this summer?
Swim?
Yeah, Reese is starting to swim on her
Yay.
own. But what are some of the rules about the pool? What do we never do? Do we ever get in the pool without mom and dad, right? We don't ever get in the pool without mom and dad?
I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we stress that to our kids. You know, even though we're out in and out and things like that, we have a designated watcher. Even though Reese is starting to swim and she's swimming underwater, you want to still be close to your child, distance, because, you know, at any time they can forget, they can get a big mouthful of water, like, you know, and forget to hold their breath and take a big gulp
Yeah.
and panic. And you want to be right there where you can reach them.
You've always said that, arm's length.
Arm's length.
Arm's length.
A designated watcher. Those
Yeah.
things are huge whenever you go to the lake or the pool or
Yeah.
anywhere you want to swim or river.
And I know, you know, and it's so sad when we both know in the last couple of summers, there have been avoidable deaths
Yes.
by drowning.
You know, in the statewide, I don't know if everybody saw that there was some teenage boys, and it wasn't here locally, but that tried to swim across the lake, and I think one of them drowned. And you know, I remember as a teenager that we swam across the lake. You know, we had a group of 3 or 4 of us swim across the lake, and you know, we were all good swimmers, but we didn't even have a life jacket or a noodle or anything like that. You know, we just took off swimming across the lake. Very unsafe to do,
Yeah.
and especially as busy as our lakes are getting with vacationers and boaters and things like that, it's pretty hard to see a swimmer in the lake if you're going, you know, at a pretty decent clip, which you can be in the channel, because you know it's open, and you know, a little head isn't very noticeable in
Right.
that. So really be careful if you're going to be doing things, and make sure that your kids and teenagers are safe. Don't swim alone.
And there's stuff under the water, right? Aren't
Yes.
there trees and everything under
Yes.
there that have been,
So when we're cliff diving and all those
Oh,
fun
yeah.
things you're not supposed to really be doing,
Yeah.
you need to know what's underneath that water.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but
Right.
oftentimes, you know, there's more, you know, big rocks, there's trees that you can hit. So when you impact that water, even though if you're jumping in feet first, if you impact that water and hit rocks or a tree or whatever, you could have some significant injuries for something like that.
are there currents in the lake?
You know,
I know in the rivers, of course, there are,
Right.
you know, because that's the water coming over the dam and feeding the rivers and everything that's creating some of the.
you know, I know they
currents.
always say that the people, if when they get caught, they kind of get caught under those shelves, and so there must be some
Yeah.
type of little current that pulls them
It
under there.
pulls them
But
under. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why we worry about the river too.
and if
Sure.
you're diving, and we have a lot of divers in the area, again, don't dive alone. Make sure you put your dive flags up.
Flag, yes.
Yeah.
Just be very careful. You know, my mom came over last night and she was talking about she had went swimming, and my guy is 11, and he was like, well, who'd you go swim with? And she was like, I went by myself. And she has a little dock, and she'd went out there by herself, didn't tell anybody she was going, and swam at the dock, and there was nobody around. It was great. We were like, no, it's not great. I mean, you know, we wouldn't have known where she was even. And if she'd have hit her head when she jumped into the water,
Right.
or
Had any kind of health
Yeah.
issue, anything, there's
Exactly.
nobody that knows.
And even with your hot tubs at your house,
Yeah.
even though it'd be so nice and relaxing, right, to get in your hot tub by yourself
Yeah.
and have a glass of wine, if you do that, don't do it alone.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, you can get overheated, you could slip getting in or out of your hot tub and hit your head. And we just don't want anybody to have an accident like that and drown.
Right. I mean, we can even take that out to anyone that doesn't have the same balance they once had as they've aged. Your bathtub. Take your phone
Yes.
so it's close by, if you know, so that you could call someone if you ran into trouble.
Exactly
So,
right,
yeah.
exactly right. Having cell phones nowadays in your pocket, on your body, with you all
Lay
the
it on
time.
the towel near the tub so you can
Yes.
reach it, and just in case there's any kind of a
It's a great idea.
the last trend we've noticed is that patients that are not coming in as quickly when they're having issues like chest pain, stroke-like symptoms. We have noticed an increase in time people are waiting at home before they come in. I was actually surprised by this because I know with the Obamacare, more people have insurance, and I thought people would come in faster when they had coverage.
With the private
but we have
option,
actually
sure.
seen a lot of increase in people. Even the heart attack people usually come in faster than
Yeah.
the stroke symptoms do. But lately, both of them have been longer. People are waiting longer to come into the ER to get checked out. If you're having any symptoms of a stroke, one-sided weakness, facial droop, slurring, anything like that, you need to come in quickly. And any chest pain or jaw pain or arm pain, you need to come in quickly.
Right. What people need to remember, and I know you two as registered nurses could certainly explain this better, but you've only got so much of a window of time
Right.
when things can be done, like the TPA medication for a stroke, that will actually stop the stroke from progressing. Am I saying that
Correct.
correctly?
Correct.
Yeah, and I mean, if you don't want that horrible damage. Kelly, you know better than anyone. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
it's great. And the thing about it is that we've actually had several success stories in the last few months. And so when they do come in and get the medication they need, they're going home, and instead of being not be able to move or speak, they're going home with almost no symptoms. So
Yeah.
it's so important that they come in early. And the same with a heart attack. Now the difference in the heart attack is you can't see the damage that's going on, but your heart muscle is damaged. So that's why it's important to get in quickly in that 90-minute window and get that artery back open again.
Yeah, and that's
So-
not a big window. I think it's like 2 hours for a stroke.
Yes.
It's-
Two.
We
From
want
start
to,
to-
yeah, we want them to get their medicine within that 3 hour,
3 hour
3
window.
to 4 hour window. But
Okay.
as soon as they can get to our hospital,
Yep,
the better.
right.
So
We
that
want
way-
them here and to CT scan in 30 minutes, and to the medicine to give them the TPA in an hour.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It does not give us time to work with if you've had those symptoms for an hour or two at
Right,
home.
right. Or the day before.
and you know
And
you're
you're
laughing,
getting
but
those.
that happens
You're
a
getting that.
lot.
I know.
Happens a
Yeah.
lot.
Tons of people that had started
Yeah.
having the symptoms the day before, and the same thing with the falls. They'll fall and hit their head, and the family will notice that they were dizzy or acting funny, but they think, well, they'll be all right. They just got their clock cleaned a little bit or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and they'll be like, oh, they'll be fine. And then they'll come in and they've had a bleed that has, of course, bled for a long time and gotten
Yeah,
bigger.
yeah.
So all those things are really important
Yeah.
to come in quickly.
So they're much better off. Come in, and
in.
if it's, let's say it's not a heart attack, and what else could it be? It could be
It could be angina, chest
Indigestion.
pain. Mhm.
Yes,
Got it.
indigestion, angina,
Yeah, yeah.
a tummy ulcer, things
yeah.
like that. could
But
cause
you're better off to
or
come in and
gallbladder.
get it checked out. And
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah.
And a stroke, you could be having, your blood pressure could be up. You could just be having like dizzy spells. You could be having what they call a TIA, which is kind of like a pre-stroke warning sign.
Mm-hmm.
But again, all those things need to be checked out. We need to get your blood pressure down. We need to see why you're dizzy. And if you're having those TIAs or those pre-strokes, those little mini strokes, then that's maybe an indication that your carotid artery may be blocked, or they may be having other health issues that we can fix so that you don't have a big stroke.
Right, right. Yeah, because I know you're all about prevention.
Absolutely.
That's the best thing that we can possibly do, that you can educate people about, is how to prevent it versus going through it. So
Right.
Absolutely.
wear your helmet, wear your life jacket, be cautious at home on things that you're doing around the house, and don't wait if you're having chest pains or if you're
Right.
starting to go through, as you were describing, Kelly, with loss of slurred speech, feeling funny on one side, get in there. Get into the Klein Emergency Center as fast as you can. All right.
And as always, if you have a group that you would like us to come and talk to, Mandy and I are always willing to come and talk to any of your groups.
Okay.
Just give us a call. You can contact Donna, or you can contact us in the trauma department. We'll be glad to come give any talk on really anything you would like us to. We're pretty...
Yes, you are versatile. You two are versatile. Reese, Mandy, Kelly, thanks for coming and joining us today for BRMC's Healthy Connections. Kelly, what's the number they can reach you at?
508-1151.
1151. Join us again next week for BRMC's Healthy Connections. We'd love to see you then. Ta-da!
Easy one.
Good
That
job.
was good. You did good.
You did